You're looking at me. Between us it's all so easy to see. We were made for each other. We were made for each other. Between us, love has begun between us. Two hearts of love between us. Nothing can come between us. Whatever we do, whenever we kiss, between you and me, it's nothing to miss. We were made for each other, girl. We were made for each other. Between us, love has begun between us. Two are the one between us. Nothing can come between us.
Okay, you fans of popular culture of the 20th century, and of course you fans of the beautiful, wonderful actress Debbie Reynolds, where I'm at. I'm in Burbank, California. I'm here on Magnolia Avenue, and this is the neighborhood where that wonderful actress grew up, right off of Magnolia and Evergreen. At 10:34, I'm going to take you fans there. Now suspend your disbelief and imagine you're here May 1st, 1948, and you're walking down the street with Debbie Reynolds and her girlfriend Norma Harris. They were walking along this street right here when they saw the handbill, and it was advertising Miss Burbank beauty pageant put on by the Chamber of Commerce. The only reason she said that she went to the beauty pageant because they were going to give all the girls a scarf and a blouse, even if they didn't win. Talk about serendipity. Imagine how much poorer we would have been in cinema history without the beautiful, wonderful actress that we lost at 84. And yeah, if you want to get technical, who died from a broken heart because she said she wanted to be with her daughter Carrie. She didn't want her to be alone wherever her soul was at. God bless you, Debbie, wherever you're at. Okay, Debbie, her name was Mary Frances Reynolds, and she was born in El Paso, Texas. Her dad was Ray Reynolds, and her mom was Maxine, and her brother Billy. They came out west one day before Christmas 1939. They came out because their dad had gotten a job as a carpenter with the Southern Pacific Railroad, and he came out that summer of 1939. As you history buffs know, that September Hitler invaded Poland, which precipitated the Second World War. Okay, he slept in MacArthur Park in downtown to save money, to bring his family, and they arrived at Alhambra train station, I guess about 2 days after Christmas, because if you've ever taken the train from Albuquerque, the super chief, if you will, it takes 2 days, so I'm sure it went a little slower. Okay, here's Evergreen, and there, as you can see there, you fans of H Salt Fish and Chips, that's an abandoned H Salt. And here, I just want to parenthetically say, I used to come here serendipitously. This was a farmer's market right here where they used to sell vegetables. So I thought that was kind of odd. I never knew that this is where she lived. Her dad, in 1940, he saved, I think it was $250 for this lot. And then he took out a $4,000 FHA loan and he built it by himself. He was a carpenter, he did all the plumbing, and he did all the wiring, and she said she was amazed. She could actually play, she had friends, they were dirt poor, and I mean really dirt poor. They actually had dirt floors in El Paso, that's how poor they were, and they only had a can of beans every day for the family. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna get out. I don't want to make a spectacle. I don't want these neighbors to come out. Okay, here you go, you fans all over the world. We're Mary Frances Reynolds. Here you go. If you want to come, it's 10:34. Okay, she did 14 films here. She did The Tender Trap. She did Singing in the Rain. She did 2 Weeks with Love with Carlton Carpenter, which incidentally, they recorded a song in that film with Carlton Carpenter and her, and it went to #3 in 1950, and she got $15,000 in royalties. And because of that song, MGM sent her and Carlton Carpenter to the Korean battlefields. The Korean War had just started that June 25th, 1950. And that young girl, that young innocent girl, 18, she was singing for those troops, those brave men and women fighting for democracy. And then she said that she would sing to all the wounded, all the burned, all the blind. God bless her. God bless you, Debbie. We lost you, but I know you wanted to be with your Carrie. Todd is still alive. And this is where she said, when she got off the train, it was like Dorothy in Wonderland, Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland. She said to all the flowers, all the eucalyptus, all the beauty, all the blue skies, the palm trees. Incidentally, if you're at all interested, in 1970, Debbie, MGM sold off all their memorabilia from all the films of their history. They were going broke at the time, and Debbie, she just couldn't help herself. She bought hundreds of thousands of dollars of memorabilia, and she recently sold it off before she died. I think it was 17 million. And boy, did she deserve that, because her two husbands robbed her with millions of dollars. $21 million. Her second husband, Harry Carroll, gambled away. Her third husband took her to the cleaners. Eddie Fisher, he gave her no love. He was always pushing her away, and he left her for her friend Elizabeth Taylor, which was a giant, terrific scandal. At that time, it was such a scandal that he left the sweet Debbie Reynolds for Liz Taylor, that they canceled this TV show. I get sentimental when I think of her, because when I remember when I saw her as Sister Anne in The Singing Nun, with that poignant, sad character that she played, especially when the boy got almost killed. And I remember she was singing and her throat was cracking. I loved her so much. I love Debbie Reynolds. Such a kind, wonderful woman, and it's true. She was exactly the way she came across in the films. Okay, in that house, I'm gonna go around one more time for you fans. She dated R.J. Wagner, Robert Wagner, for a couple of years. She was gonna marry him, but he wanted to have sex before marriage. She was a Nazarene, and she said, definitely not, no way. So he ended up losing interest, and then he ended up having a relationship with Barbara Stanwyck, whom he met on Titanic with Clifton Webb. And methinks that he kind of wanted to be with Barbara because she was promoting his career. Okay, and also she dated in that house Arthur Lowe Jr. His family owned MGM. They were the founders of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, the Lowe's family, who incidentally, Arthur Lowe Jr., he was a friend of James Dean. And here you go, look at that, Screenland. Okay, I just want to say right here, when she got signed to Warner Brothers, see that hill over there? At the base of that is where Warner Brothers is. And I think, well, she actually only did 2 films because Jack Warner said we don't hire ingenues. But they signed her anyway. the talent scout that saw her at the Miss Burbank Beauty Festival. He was a talent scout for Warner Brothers. He talked Jack Warner into signing her, and they only did 2 movies, and they were just little roles. And then she ended up going from Warner Brothers to MGM for the rest of her career. They signed her up. That was her 3rd film. And like I said, in this house over here in Evergreen, she did 14 films. The last film she did was The Tender Trap with Frank Sinatra. And she did Singing in the Rain, Kathy Selden, the character. Now in that film, for 8 months, she learned how to dance for 3 months out of the 8. And then 5 months, they filmed it straight. And they said that she literally could not get up every morning with her mom. And I think her grandma would get her up and they rub her muscles for an hour, put the heater on, put hot cloths on her, and to get her going. And she was like dead to the world all the way to the studio. She'd drive herself. And her dad bought her a 1932 Chevy 4-door for $50 to get her every day to MGM from Burbank. And here you go, you fans. Okay, in this house on Christmas Eve 1954, Eddie Fisher, he parked fire engine red 1955 Ford Thunderbird right here. That's what he gave her for Christmas. And he gave her an 11-carat diamond ring. And on this street, this is where Robert Wagner and Debbie Reynolds, they used to sit in front and talk. He'd bring her home, they go on dates. And she also dated John Barrymore Jr. here. This is where she lived. And 14 films. She was a big star already, and she was living here until age 23, until she got married. She actually got married Thursday, September 29th, 1955. She was 23 and Eddie was 27. So here you go, you fans all over the world, with that beautiful, wonderful woman, actress, artiste, Debbie Reynolds. Lived from 1940 to 1955. Okay, let's follow me and let's go to another place associated with her dance studio, which she opened in 1979. She said also at that time, she said they still didn't have money while living here, but there were so many Concord grapes that the pickers would give them buckets of grapes. And they were so poor that her mom would, like when Billy's birthday would come up, she'd bake Billy a lemon meringue pie. And this is the block where they run up and down playing with all her friends, her girlfriends. And this is where she started a lifetime of being in the Girl Scouts. She was an inveterate Girl Scout all her life. And the one birthday she remembers here, her mom actually gave her a can of pitted olives. Well, you got to understand, the Depression was winding down, but it was still in full force. And of course, even though the World War had started, America wouldn't start for another year, wouldn't enter into the war against the Axis powers. Okay, so follow me now, and let's go to 2 more places associated with this beautiful, wonderful actress, Miss Debbie Reynolds. Okay, let's go. Thank you for watching.